Today I want to talk about how to create your own mind control. And basically what that is how you yourself can control your thoughts and what it is that you choose to do in this life without allowing others to manipulate you. And I'm going to go into detail because I'm sure there's some of you who automatically assume, oh, can't nobody tell me what to do, or can't nobody make me do something I don't want to do. But guess what? All around us are hidden persuaders in life. And when you're young, you like to think you're different, and you also like to think that you're immune from psychological pressures that bend, manipulate, and condition other people. You say to yourself, yeah, I'm not like that. But the part of real growing up that I've realized is when you start to see how you yourself are led by your environment, influenced by other people, and driven by the needs that you have as a person. Now, people are manipulated precisely because we share innate human characteristics that render us all susceptible to a certain degree. And just like any other infection, some people are naturally more prone to it than others. And therefore, you have people who have higher levels of immunity to the BS. And then you have, of course, those who succumb to psychological pressure and can be made to do things that they normally would never think of doing. Now, I have to say that, before I can get into how to control your own mind, I have to tell you the triggers, the things that we have, our innate needs that make us susceptible to this if we don't have it on lock. We all have basic human needs. The needs are the security of a safe environment in which to develop, the giving and the receiving of attention, a sense of autonomy and control, a need to be emotionally connected to others, a need to be a part of a wider community, and a sense of status within social groupings. And this also includes feeling important in some sort of way, a sense of accomplishment and achievement, and meaning and purpose in life. So if any of these needs are not adequately met, we then become strangely attracted to anything that promises to supply what is lacking. Once you know this, it's the beginning of a cure. Now, many of you might remember back in 1978, there was a character named Jim Jones who called himself a preacher, but he was actually the devil in disguise. And he set up a place called Jonestown, and the tragic legacy of that place is that he convinced 900 people to drink poison and die, and to give it to their children and kill their children. And there were some who wouldn't do it, and they were obviously forced to do it. But the majority of the people did it willingly. So you'll say to yourself, well, how was he able to achieve this? Well, Jones' adherents, they were drawn from the poorest areas of Los Angeles. They were disaffected people who were not leading satisfying lives or meeting their basic needs in healthy ways. These people faced uncertain futures. Many of them had negative self-images. And Jones held out the promise of certainty, company, purpose, community, self-respect, and feelings of security within his cult. And there must have been, along with all of that, some really great times to be had, because eventually these people followed Jones like some modern day Pied Piper right into hell. So, and I say that because some of the people, their families tried to get them away from him, and there were court interventions and all kinds of things, and they wouldn't leave. So there had to be a very strong pull there. Some of you may recognize this in either your own relationships, past or present, or in the relationships of those around you. When you see people who are involved with people that you know is not a healthy situation, but no matter what, you can't pull them away from the situation. So on a, well, let me just say this. So it's easy to see that if a person's needs are not being met adequately in a healthy way, then if something comes along with the premise of supplying the needs in one package, then that can be a pretty irresistible lure. Now, on a more mundane level, consider how many people feel neglected in a marriage and have these illicit affairs with someone because it was so nice to be listened to or to be flattered or paid attention to. And the very same unconscious propulsion towards an affair that might drive others into the arms of a cult or even into a timeshare is at work here because people feed into your needs. Now, the rational justifications and the wisdom after the fact comes when we recognize that we all need quality attention and we strive to meet that need somehow. But the thirst for it can blind you to the unsavory aspects of the person or thing that is tempting you. The emotional drive is so powerful that it will enlist the help of the conscious mind to construct compelling logical arguments to support what you feel compelled to do. And this goes also for the illicit relationships and the bad relationships that people find themselves in. You will always make an argument, we, people, will always make an argument to stay because we are so compelled. And this also is part of, well, that's another video, but it is also connected to the soul ties of things where we just can't let go. You can, but it is a journey, trust me. Okay. There's certain weapons of influence that are at work when people attempt to get into your head. And I will tell you what they are, and then I'll also tell you how you can counteract them. Reciprocation. Now, there are always going to be those people that you're going to feel like, oh, but they've done so much for me. So you feel beholden to them. And this operates on the principle of reciprocation. And Jim Jones, again, he constantly reminded his followers of all that he and the church had done for them, how he had saved them, and how could they begrudge doing anything for the church. If someone is reminding you all the time how much they are doing for you or what they have done for you, they are manipulating you. You don't do things for people in order to receive. Your gift, and the Bible speaks clearly about this, about doing things unto the Lord, and He will bless you, because if you do it for public acknowledgement, well, then you've already been blessed. So, and a lot of times, I can tell you, I've done for people, and the blessing doesn't come back from the source. It rarely does. But I have also been blessed abundantly. So we don't do it for that purpose, but if we do it from our heart, it always comes back. Okay, commitment and consistency. People who publicly commit, verbally or in writing, to an idea or a goal, they are more likely to honor the commitment. This is the principle upon which signing contracts was created in order to make people honor their commitment. We like to appear consistent to ourselves and to others. To suddenly stop following up or abandoning this commitment is almost impossible to others. It makes you feel like you've broken a vow or something. But guess what? Sometimes you've got to get out of the contract. You've asked a lot of people who saw their riches being squandered away by record labels, and people who've been in marriages where they obviously saw that it was just going to hell. Some things, some commitments you have to break. So never feel like, oh, I can't, well, I gave my word. And this is something in my generation we used to say, well, our word was our bond. And as you know, a bond is a legal instrument. And so by giving our word, we were saying to the person, well, yeah, you can count on it that we're going to do this. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes you've got to get out of it, especially if you see that no good can come to it. Okay, social proof. People will do things that they see other people doing. Now, this principle is built on an advertising slogan, oh, well, a million people can't be wrong. But guess what? They can. Or another advertising gimmick is that if everybody's doing it, then it must be good. No, this is how you get drawn into something, by following someone else. There used to be a record by the Temptations called Keeping Up with the Jonesies. And basically it meant that whatever your neighbor had, you felt you had to have it, because people want to do what they see other people doing. This is how trends are started. This is how fashion victims are created. And it's not just stupid blindness, because in order for us to survive in a world of predators, we had to form cohesive groups and look to others for behavioral cues. But you also have to, and I said this in my last video, you have to be able to separate what's good for you and what's bad for you. And as with all persuasions, they can actually be used against us and actually harm people. When you follow others, a lot of times you're following them to hell. And this is proven time and time again, young people, when you join gangs. So you've got this group of people that you look up to and you follow their advice and they tell you how to act and how to behave. And next thing you know, you're behind bars because you did something stupid with the group. Authority. People tend to obey authority figures, even if they're asked to perform objectionable acts. And these authority figures, they come in many different guises. So we have to be careful with that. Just because someone is wearing a uniform does not make them the end-all, be-all. A person in a uniform, they are expected to uphold the uniform, but a lot of times they do not. So we have to use our judgment when dealing with these people. If they tell us to do something that we know is wrong, we have the right to refuse to do it. And you have to, another thing that I recall from my generation is that if you don't stand up for something, you will fall for anything. Liking. Now, people are more easily persuaded by other people whom they like. And likable people might not do very likable things, and that's where the problem is. And advertisers use this to suck us in because they know we tend to buy from people we like. They also know that you tend to buy from attractive people. So it's no coincidence that a lot of the people that are used in commercials and other areas of life, leaders and politicians and newscasters and all these people, they tend to be attractive and charismatic because this is the lure to get you in and to buy your believability, to make you be able to have faith and confidence in this person solely on what they look like. Don't fall for the trap. This is also a trap that many people seeking relationships fall into. They are first attracted to what the person looks like, and then later on, if they find out that they've got a demon, well, they're stuck with it because they've already allowed themselves to get sucked into the lure of the appearance of the person. And some people, their own self-esteem is so low that they're actually boosted whenever they're out in public with their significant other because this makes them feel better about themselves. you have to reverse that, and I'm going to tell you how. Scarcity. Now, if something seems scarce, then the demand for it will increase. And this is again how advertisers suck us in. You see signs like limited offer or while stocks last. Or the favorite, my personal favorite, sale ends Friday. It never ends on Friday, but this is what they'll tell you. There are all ways that the scarcity principle is used in marketing. And in a manipulative relationship, it's also used in the way that you'll have people tell you, well, you're never going to meet anyone like me, or you'll never meet anyone who loves you as much as I do. And the implication that is there is that they're rare or they're so valuable to you that you want to hold on to them. Don't believe it. They're trying to trick you into staying in the relationship. And if they feel they have to trick you, then it's obvious that there's a reason you don't need to be there. Because you don't need to be with someone who has to use mind games to keep you there. So how do you protect yourself and get control of your own head, of your own mind? Well, for starters, you want to be aware that the promise of gain and the threat of loss are basic universal tools for manipulation of your beliefs and behavior. Back to the gang culture, so many young people who join gangs, they get the promise of gain. Now you've gained protection. Now you've gained friends. Now you've gained a family. That's all bull. Because the minute something goes down, you can count your friends on one finger. If you go to jail, your family dissipates, and I probably pronounced that wrong, but they're not there. And the threat of loss, how many times have people threatened you with losing? Oh, well, you're going to lose my friendship, or you're going to lose money, or you're going to lose this or that. So what? Anything lost can be regained. Don't fall for it. Understand that if your basic emotional and physical needs are not being adequately met, you become more vulnerable to anyone willing to exploit this. So you got to keep things to yourself. Don't be so quick to share your emotions with people, even if you know them well. There was a song in hip hop where the artist said, "Guard your grill," and you've got to guard your heart, because there are people who have no problem with stepping all over it for their own gain. So if you have something missing in your life, pray on this thing, but keep it to yourself. Ask the Lord to send you a mate, someone who loves you for you. Also, stop with the rebound relationships. So many of you, especially after you've been in a physical, ungodly relationship, you miss the physical. You become so caught up in the sex. You're sprung, for lack of a better word, that when the person is torn away, and this is indeed a soul tie. When the person has gone away, you long for them because you miss whatever it is that they were giving you. And so you can't wait to find someone to replace what is missing. But guess what? It was never good to begin with. So you replace one ungodly thing with another ungodly thing, and the cycle just keeps going. And this is why people have multitudes of relationships, and eventually they get to the point where they can't even have feelings for another person because they've been so manipulated and used, and there's just an empty shell walking around looking to be filled. And you also open yourself to being victimized, not just by people, but by cults as well. Because I'm going to tell you a secret. There are a lot of people who are trained in the art of reading people. So they can talk to you just for a few minutes and tell what's missing in your life. And if they're a manipulator, they will use that to control you. Okay, these weapons of influence, they operate in everyday life and mostly in benign ways. They are linked directly to our universal needs. So, what do I have to say in summation of all of this? Stay calm. Stay calm and sober, because a calm mind can perceive the world much more clearly and objectively than a mind that's filled with emotion and reacts instead of acts, and also a mind that is a head that's not clear. If you're walking around every day with a foggy head because you've ingested drugs or alcohol, then you're not going to be able to see these things coming. Now, I have to say, to the credit of most people, not everybody is out to exploit or manipulate people, but unfortunately, there's enough of them out there who are. So, in order for you to have a healthy and a fulfilled life and to be in control of your own mind, you've got to start by recognizing the things that put you at a disadvantage. I start every day and I end every day with prayer. There are certain prayers that give me strength and certain Bible verses that give me strength to keep in mind, because it's easy to forget. If you don't practice something, you can forget it. So the prayers are my way of practicing words that will stay in my head for the day and keep me clear of the dangers that are on the other side of my door. And one of my prayers that I say often, I say it every day and I say it every night because it is my protection, and it comes from Psalm 1. And it goes, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. For his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish." And how this helps me is that it reminds me, it keeps me mindful of the company that I keep. And this is why my circle is very tight, because you cannot judge by the appearance of a person how their heart is, what's behind the mask. So to avoid that, I'm polite and kind to everyone. And yes, I do enjoy having friends and associates and being sociable, but I'm not quick to bring people into my life. I'm not quick to share my problems. I'm not quick to bring people home. I delight in the law of the Lord. I'm so busy about my Father's business that I don't have time for a social life. My social life consists of maybe looking at a movie on my laptop, or maybe playing my cello, or banging on my drums, or maybe sitting and doing a piece of art or art project, because I don't always paint. Sometimes I just create things out of things, other things, but these are the things that I do. And I'm mindful that you are the company you keep. So you have to be mindful of that as well. That's it in a nutshell. I have to say, it took me a while to get to this point. It didn't happen overnight. So the controlling of your own mind, it's not going to happen overnight. It's something you have to practice. And once you practice it, you will become good at it. Remember that. Everything that you practice is what you will become good at. So if you practice being of the world, then that's what you're going to be good at. You're going to become this worldly person who is good at the things that you are attracted to, the things that you find fulfilling in this life, the things that you feel are missing. All right, I'm going to end in prayer. Father God, in the name of Jesus, help people to know that their minds are just that, theirs. And they don't have to give people space in their head. We have choices. As long as we have life, we have choices. Unless we are totally incapacitated, we can make choices for ourselves, and we can make the right choice. But first, we've got to renew our minds. We've got to cleanse our minds, and we've got to let you in our heads. Once we are filled with the Holy Spirit, it's a lot easier. And people need to know this, Lord, and I ask you to show them how easy it is with you to discern the good fruit from the bad fruit. Because bad fruit cannot fall from a good tree. So you've got to know people that the Lord is there to guide you through the garden so that you pick only the good fruit, so that you fill your minds with the good things, the good seeds, so that your own seeds can grow good. Many, many bad seeds came from a bad tree. Lord, help the people to see this. But just because they came from a bad tree, they don't have to remain bad. They can renew themselves. You can cleanse them and make them new. Everything old is gone and everything of you is new and clean. Help them with the renewing of their minds. Help them to see that they can be good and they can prosper. They will not wither if they follow you, Lord. Thank you for allowing me to be a vessel. Thank you for speaking through me, Lord, so that I can then speak to the youth. Thank you, as always, for the subscribers, for the followers who don't subscribe, and for the haters. God bless them all. In Jesus' name.